In August last year, the chairman of BUA Group spoke about the frustration his company faced in trying to subsidize the price of cement. He explained that BUA sold over 1 million tons to dealers at 3,500 naira per bag, hoping the dealers would pass the benefits down to consumers. But instead, dealers sold each bag at 7,000 to 8,000 naira. BUA had to scrap the policy because the intervention was not to subsidize dealers. You may wonder why I'm bringing this up 9 months later. Please stay with me. A friend shared his discovery from just last week. He ran out of beverages and went to restock temporarily. He found that a single sachet was going for 250 naira. It's easy to assume things are just expensive and move on. But no, a carton of that beverage gives you a per unit cost of about 174 naira. Maybe it's transportation cost, you would say, but no. Another woman, just 200 meters away, sells a roll at a rate that brings each sachet to 180 naira. So where did we get 250 naira from? Now, about 10 years ago, a friend who ran a small factory producing ointment balm for 15 naira, factoring in raw materials, labor, machines, and of course, profits. Wholesalers sold it for 25 naira, but retailers, 50 naira. We have seen government efforts to subsidize food frustrated by people who buy at subsidized rates and resell at ridiculous prices. No fear of God, but churches and mosques stay full every weekend. The other day, I found out our beloved national snack, which retails for 500 naira, is being sold for 800 naira in some quarters. And guess what? It gets to retailers at 403 naira. Now make it make sense. We have normalized this problem, yet we complain that economic progress only exists on paper. With a marketplace this greedy, even if the naira miraculously returns to 1,000 naira to $1, the masses may never feel it. Where do we go from here? Do we need a price control board? Maybe. But how do we ensure it works in a country without accountability? Let's be honest, we don't just need a price control board, we need to fix our principles.
Can I go first?
Yes, please.
All right. So, what you just described is what I called greedflation. Okay.
Greedflation.
Greedflation.
Interesting.
Or what we call price gouging, and which is in effect, a process where people in a way deliberately increase the price of items or commodities for the sole purpose of profit. And the BUA example is a very typical example that you gave. And I remember exactly when the chairman made that statement. I think he even spoke it on TV. He expressed his frustration because of what the middleman is doing in between. Now, the interesting thing is that you're asked, do we need a price control board? I don't think so.
Okay.
And the reason is because we already have existing laws that takes care of price gouging, in itself. Let me just, quote that specific law, which is the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act itself. Now, according to that act, price gouging and price fixing is illegal in Nigeria. And specifically, Section 7 prohibits obnoxious trade practices or the unscrupulous exploitation of consumers. Section 108, 1, B and C says that any conspiracy, agreement, or arrangement to unduly limit or manipulate supply in order to unreasonably enhance price or restrain competition is a criminal offense punishable upon conviction. So we have laws already that takes care of this. But guess what happens when the FCCPC decides to go after some of these people? A typical example is what they did with DSCB. Guess what happens? It's the same Nigerians that will say, what's your business? It's a business. They have a right to increase their price. It's, are we doing socialism in Nigeria? So I think what we need to do is we need to educate Nigerians a lot that there's a difference between profiteering. You know, you're doing business and you're adding 10%, 20% margin, yes. But when you deliberately manipulate price, as you have described, that is illegal. That's against the law. And we must call them out, and we must ensure that the right agency of government is also being prepped to do the right thing. And when they do, we give them all the support that is needed.
If you want to do your job, do your job. Like you have a job to do. We're all here doing our jobs, right? It doesn't matter who says what and who says this. Do you understand? It's your job to protect the consumer. Protect the consumer. That's what you have to do. You don't need pageantry to do that. But we live in a society where illegality isn't judged by the crime, but by who's committing it. And that's where the problem is. Because if it was somebody that was in a lower, I mean, look at what EFCC is doing. They're chasing people who using taxpayers' money.
Or the judges are jailing those who steal goods.
Do you understand?
For those
people who steal the real money. Do you understand? And that's the core of the problem. Is the fact that our judicial system, our law enforcement agency, and anybody that's responsible, or agents that are responsible to protect people, are not being fair. They're not really doing their jobs. Because if they actually do their jobs, then this will not exist.
That's right.
There are businesses that are trying, because we understand what the situation of this country is, but what I've come to realize is anybody that has an opportunity to leverage, they take it.
Sharp. I just want to backtrack to 1984, during the tenure, the regime of General Muhammadu Buhari.
Yeah.
That was his first coming into national leadership. And we had what was called a Senko, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
And at that time, they set up a price control board to sort of moderate the prices of essential commodities.
Yeah, food and all
Fast forward to 2004, President Obasanjo reaffirmed that price control board. I don't know if that's the board that has metamorphosed into FCPC, you know, but there is a price control board at some point in this country. Whether it's still working, whether we have a DG or someone overseeing that board, whether they're at work or not is what I don't know. But here is my own experience. I once bought, you know, a souvenir from a shop, and I bought it at, say, 25,000. I really wanted to give a gift to somebody really very important, you know. And then a few weeks later, I went to the open market in Lagos, and I got it for 6,000 naira.
What? Like the same exact thing?
It's even bigger.
Okay.
And better. So you see, we are our own problems. Bright is asking us today, are you a hypocrite? A lot of us are. And a lot of us are mean, unkind, and we fleece people to feel good. It's such a sorry thing for us to do.
I'm coming last, and I'm somehow going to disagree with you all. On the Boa case, there's something somewhere. You know why I said so? I've been a distributor for over 20 years, for over 2 decades. There is no how the company will reduce prices and it will not go down. Do you know why? Because everybody is chasing volume. In that business, most of the things we chase is volume. So when there's reduction, I will reduce to get more customers. The other one we reduce. What we even have is predatory pricing, where at the end of the day, people are selling below the cost price to be able to get rebates. So that BUA thing, I'm ready to sit down and challenge BUA, whatever he said. Maybe the distributors are not speaking. It is very difficult. So I remember when BUA did that, this thing, and it was a period where there was a lot of issue. I think with that was the first time the forest had gone up, the naira to dollar price had gone up. And I said something, I said, for somebody in this economy to reduce the price, that means they were being overpriced so much before, or whatever it is. After a while, they took it back. Who took it back? Is it a political? Come and be making political statements and then be blaming distributors. Let me tell you, one of the things that people don't understand is that we as traders, We make more money when things are cheap. When things are expensive, you don't make money.
You're saying that there's no possibility of these distributors forming a cartel?
No, there is possibility. They can form cartel. But how are they, when we can't unite on issues? There are some people that are able, only one group are able to form that cartel, not too much.
Maybe maybe location based, but not
yes. But I begin to understand what they mean when they say that corruption is deep-rooted, since it goes to foundational issues like our principles.
Deep-rooted is right, Elsie. We better bring out our hoes and get digging.